Hello and welcome. If you're watching this video, it probably means that you have finished the introductory part of 400 level. You have done your intro A, your intro B, your intro path, and your nursing posting, and now it's time for M1, S1, your first medical posting. In this video, I'm going to focus on M1, M2. There's going to be another video that will be discussing surgery. You understand? And then there'll be another video that will be talking about M3 later on in the future. But for now, we're going to focus on medicine. First of well done, Pat and Farm is not easy. Now, this might seem like that long awaited break, that 16-week period, because M1, S1 is a 16 weeks posting, 8 weeks for medicine, 8 weeks for surgery, usually before the examination. It might seem like that period of, time to rest and, get away from the stress of practicals, lectures in pathology and pharmacology. However, and that is partly true, but however, my dear, M1, S1, medicine and surgery generally is going to build up till the final MD. And I assure you, in 600 level, if you coast in this posting, if you joke with the posting and you just get whatever you want to get, it's going to tell, because it's going to be a foundation. You're going to add a little bit in M1, M2, and then M3. If you coast in this posting, in 600 level, you are going to regret it, because you'll be struggling for marks in when you should have gotten the marks when they were cheaper and easier in M1. So follow this guide so that you can have a smoother and even an easier medicine posting. Now, upon resumption of the posting, your class will be divided into two: medicine and surgery. Now, assuming you're in medicine, medicine has 6 subspecialties. You're going to be divided into 6 groups, and each of these groups is going to rotate what they call crisscross between the subspecialties in the hospital. So you are going to attune your schedules to fit the schedules of the unit, the particular subspecialty you have been attached to. Because of that two broad division, for example, medicine and surgery. In medicine, you guys are going to be split into 6 groups, and each of those groups will be attached to one particular unit. And then you are going to join the doctors in the hospital to go for their ward rounds, where they actually see patients bed by bed. You're going to join them for clinic, where they see new patients who are coming from home. You're going to join them for calls in the accident and emergency, where they admit new patients and manage them. You understand? And then you're going to join them for ground rounds and morning reviews, where they review how they've been practicing contemporary medicine in for a given period of time. So that is how the schedule is going to be like in the hospital. Now, just a little bit of guidance when you are getting to the hospital. I know you're excited to wear your new ward coat to the hospital. You're excited to flaunt your stats and things like that, your stethoscope. That's cool. That's all very cool. But as you go to the hospital, there are some things you need to be wary of. All the microbes you learned in microbiology, the ones in the hospital they are heinous, they are terrible. So if you take your bag to the ward round and you drop it or you touch the wall, you're going to take Staphylococcus aureus from the hospital to your room, to your hostel, and you're going to put that same bag on your bed and lie down on it. The infections you're going to be getting will be hospital acquired, because the microbes are going to be gotten from the hospital. In a nutshell, you can't be taking your bags and other belongings, your handbag and stuff to the hospital. When you're leaving the hospital, make sure you wash your hands when you are coming home. It's good. I don't think it's right to associate, like, put your hospital wears alongside your clothes, your clothes. When you keep them aside from your clothes and probably wash them separately. At this point, it will not be bad, I mean, don your personal protective equipment, your face mask and all that. When you are supposed to examine a patient, because sometimes you will examine patients, make sure you wear gloves, wear your mask. Try to keep sepsis, try to protect yourself while you are learning. You understand? It's very, very important you take this. It will not be wrong to start using antiseptic when you take your bath at this point, so that whatever you come with from the hospital, you wash it away, so that you can actually be healthy. I mean, a healthy doctor is the one that is a healthy student is who will graduate to become a doctor, and who eventually will be able to give care to sick people. This is very, very important. You understand? Now, let's come back to clinical practice. So you're going to, in medicine and surgery, a good source of stuff, where you're going to learn from, a good textbook. You can choose from, in any of the available textbooks, Davidson, Harrison, Kuma and Clark medicine textbook. You can choose any of them. However, for references, I spoke with one of the best medical students, one of the best medicine students while I was in doing M1, S1. He had 80%, 83 actually, when he did M1, S1. And I asked him what did he use, and he told me the secret for him was using Oxford Handbook of Medicine, Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine. It's brief enough, however, it's detailed enough for you to learn all you're supposed to learn. The Davidson Harrison books, they're actually big. I'm talking books that are weighing 3 kg. So you can imagine, the size and the volume therein. But the Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine is something you can put in your pocket conveniently. You can read it. It makes sense, it's fun, it's fast, and it has enough details for it to, suffice for the MCQ. So that's a very good source of stuff. Osmosis.org, beautiful online combination, beautiful online medical school where they discuss every single topic on the timetable in medicine. Of course, there will be a timetable, as I always say, and you can list the topics from M1 in your the first page of your notes. When you list them, you see that there are about 42 of them, and then you can begin to read and tick. So a short source of stuff will be Osmosis, Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine. Now, you need a handbook of clinical practice when you're going to the hospital. A very good one is the guide. The guide is beautiful. It will help you learn how to interact with patients in the hospital. So how to clerk, how to examine, pulse oximeter, all these tiny things in the hospital that because the hospital works on its own different schedule, and the hospital functions. You are just a medical student come and learn in a teaching hospital. So you might not be taught every single thing, but going through that book, you're going to learn in and out, the nitty-gritty of things used in the hospital and things used in the ward especially. So the guide will be a very good handbook for you to put in your pocket anytime you're going to the hospital. Something to reference, something to quickly read up. The most important facts you're going to need in medicine will be in that book, somewhere in that book, from emergencies all the way to patient interaction. You're going to learn that in that book. Now, alongside all this that we've been talking about so far, the medicine exam proper in itself is all MCQ for M1. Is all MCQ. And I think there is no negative marking in M1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no negative marking in M1. So we've seen 80s, we've seen high 70s in medicine, especially in M1. So when you read according to the timetable and then you practice the MCQs in medicine, you can just have a walkover when the time for the exam comes. There is another video for examination of patients, clerking of patients, patient interaction, and all that is going to be prepared. You can check that out. If you've enjoyed this, then you can actually learn how to do the examination and how to actually clerk patients in that particular video. Lastly, as a parting word for M1 students, Clinical Methods by Hutchinson is an old textbook written in the 17th century and has been edited, has undergone about 25 editions even up to date. Now, Clinical Methods by Hutchinson is a beautiful book. The first 3 chapters of Clinical Methods by Hutchinson is a wonderful textbook. It will make you know why you are even going to the hospital to learn in the first place. You're not going to be learning stuff per se from the book, but you're going to be learning the organics of hospital. You're going to learn how to interact with patients, the psychology you're supposed to have, the mindset you're supposed to have when you're interacting with patients. You're going to learn a little bit about ethics. You're going to learn about the boundaries of, patient-doctor relationship, how to keep that relationship professional. It's a very interesting, just 3 chapters of the book. You should have read it in nursing posting, but if you haven't read it at that particular point, then I really strongly suggest that you read the first 3 chapters of Hutchinson's. You'll be seeing very interesting quotes. You see this famous quote. I don't know if I'll be able to recite it offhand, but it goes like this: from inability to let well alone, from too much zest for what is new and contempt from what is old, from putting knowledge before wisdom, science before art, and something before common sense, good Lord deliver us. It's an epitaph by Sir Robert Hutchinson. It tells you the idea you're supposed to take into the hospital, right? So that is for M1. I hope you have an idea of how to go about M1. In M2, by then you'll be a more mature, hopefully you'll be a more mature clinical student. I just want to say a brief word about M2. Now, in M2, your logbook is going to be 33% of the mark in M2. M2 exam is purely written. There is no MCQ part of the M2 exam. And M2 posting is just for 4 weeks. You're going to be taking that in 500 level. It's just going to be dermatology and infectious diseases. There's all these sources of stuff that I've outlined earlier apply. However, you're going to be doing M2 alongside your special postings when you're in 600 level. So there is actually no time per se to do that posting. So when it's time to do M2, I want you to be aware that you have to actually clerk, have a very sound logbook because it's 33% of the mark. The exam is purely written and it's just going to cover infectious diseases and dermatology. That is all I'm going to tell you about M2. So in general, I hope you have a wonderful medicine posting. There is a special video for M3, and that will be when you're in 600 level, and I wish you have a very beautiful medicine posting. Cheers, guys.